My ex-wife cheated with her yoga instructor and dragged me to court for child support until a DNA test exposed the truth and her whole plan collapsed in public. I'm 34, a former Marine turned private security contractor. I served 8 years in the Corps, including 3 deployments overseas, before transitioning to the private sector for better pay, hoping to secure a stable future for my family. I've always been the breadwinner, hitting the gym 5 days a week since I was 17. I own my home, drive practical cars, and invest my earnings rather than splurging on luxury items. I met Sarah when I was 25, just as I was leaving the military. She was a receptionist at a medical office, seemed kind and grounded, hailing from a middle-class family with some student loans I helped clear. Her life goals appeared modest and sensible. How wrong I was. Life doesn't unravel like a slow-motion movie scene. It hits fast and brutal. It was a Thursday. I remember because Thursdays were my longest work days. I'd just finished a 14-hour shift guarding a paranoid tech CEO, wearing a 25-pound tactical vest in 90-degree heat. My shoulders ached, and all I wanted was a hot shower and some time with my 4-year-old daughter Emma before her bedtime. I even stopped at Sarah's favorite sushi spot, spending $80 on her beloved dragon rolls with extra eel sauce. Small details stick with you. Sarah had been distant for months, glued to her phone, barely engaging with me. Still, I was determined to keep things together. The Marines taught me resilience, didn't they? I walked into our home at 8:45 p.m., setting the sushi on the coffee table. Sarah lounged on our $3,000 leather sofa, fully paid by me, scrolling Instagram like it was her career. She didn't glance up. "I want a divorce," she said, flat and cold, eyes still on her screen. 7 years together, 5 married, a daughter we both supposedly cherished. And she couldn't even look at me while shattering our family. I stood there, still in my tactical gear, sushi warming on the table. "What?" I managed. "You heard me," she replied, still scrolling. "I've already consulted a lawyer. Here's how this is going to go." She finally met my eyes, a glint of satisfaction in them. She listed her demands like she was ordering takeout. The house I'd bought with my military savings, the Lexus I paid for, primary custody of Emma, and $3,200 monthly in child support. I was already covering a $2,800 mortgage, both car payments, $580 for her Lexus, $320 for my Toyota, Emma's $1,400 private preschool, $100 monthly dance classes, all utilities, groceries, her $150 boutique gym membership, and her endless self-care costs, manicures, pedicures, massages, and hair appointments that cost more than my car note. "You're asking for everything," I said, keeping my tone even. 8 years of military training helped me stay calm, even as my life collapsed. She shrugged, returning to her phone. "My lawyer says I'm entitled to it. She also wanted to limit me to every other weekend with Emma." I snapped, not violently, I'm not that man, but I couldn't stay silent. "Are you serious? I'm the one who takes Emma to school every day, stays up when she's sick, taught her to swim, reads her stories, takes her to the park while you're at yoga." Sarah barely reacted, still scrolling. "Courts favor mothers," she said. "My lawyer says it's standard." Then I noticed Emma wasn't home. It was 9 p.m., and my 4-year-old wasn't in bed. "Where's Emma?" I asked. "At my mom's," Sarah said. "I figured this might get heated." She'd planned this ambush, likely for weeks. I set the sushi down, my appetite gone. "How long have you been scheming this?" Her smirk made my blood boil. "Long enough to know what I deserve." Deserve. That word hit like a sledgehammer. After all I'd sacrificed, she felt entitled to my life's work. "I need air," I said, heading for the door. "Don't forget to grab your stuff from the bedroom," she called out. "I moved it to the guest room." I drove aimlessly that night, trying to process the betrayal. My phone buzzed with Sarah's texts, each more demanding. "When are you back? We need to finalize details. My lawyer wants to meet Monday. Be civil for Emma's sake." That last one nearly made me crash. Using Emma as leverage already? The weeks that followed were a haze of legal meetings, paperwork, and watching Sarah dismantle our life. She stayed in the guest room, going out constantly. When I asked about Emma, it was always, "She's at mom's," or "She's at a play date." My first meeting with my lawyer, Richard, recommended by a military buddy, was a reality check. "Her demands are steep but not uncommon," he said, reviewing her lawyer's papers. "California courts lean toward mothers, unless there's proof of neglect." I argued I was Emma's primary caregiver, that Sarah was barely home. Richard sighed. "Got proof? Texts, calendars, witnesses?" I didn't. I'd never thought I'd need to document my own marriage. "Start now," he advised. "Every time she leaves Emma, every missed commitment, every dollar you spend." Sarah, meanwhile, was spinning a tale of me as a controlling ex-soldier who kept her financially trapped, completely opposite the truth. Her friends bought it, and even some mutual friends started acting distant. The first custody exchange after our temporary agreement was seared into my mind. Sarah pulled up in my Lexus, wearing $200 Lululemon gear, looking annoyed. Emma ran to me, arms wide. I hadn't seen her in nearly 2 weeks. Sarah tossed me Emma's bag. "Here's her allergy medicine, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. sharp. Bed by 8:30, no sugar after 6, no screens after 7, do her dance stretches." I stared. I'd managed Emma's meds for 2 years because Sarah found it too stressful. "Anything else about my daughter I should know?" I asked. She gave me a look like I was the help. "Be ready by 6 p.m. Sunday. I have yoga at 7. Weekends with Emma were joy and pain. Joy because I had my girl, pain because I knew our time was limited. We built blanket forts in my new, overpriced one-bedroom apartment, baked cookies, watched Pixar films, hit the park. She'd chatter about school, show me dance moves, but I could tell she was off, quieter, needier, waking up at night to check if I was there. "Daddy, why don't you live with us anymore?" she asked one night. My heart shattered. "Sometimes grown-ups live in different places, sweetheart," I said. "But I love you more than anything." She nodded, clutching her stuffed elephant, the one I got her as a newborn. "Love you too, Daddy. Another story?" I read 3 more that night. Drop-offs were torture. Emma would cry, begging to stay. Sarah would stand there checking her watch, saying, "You're making it worse by lingering." I started noticing changes in Emma after Sarah's weeks. She'd return with pricey toys but dirty clothes, hair unkempt, exhausted from poor sleep. When I raised it in court, Sarah's lawyer dismissed it. "Your Honor, Mr. Bremut last name is exaggerating normal childhood behavior to smear my client." Sarah conjured tears, and the judge nodded sympathetically. Perception ruled family court, and Sarah was a pro at playing the victim. Court appearances eroded my rights further. Temporary custody became semi-permanent. Child support payments climbed. Sarah demanded more for Emma's activities I never saw, school supplies I never verified, medical costs, despite my insurance. I kept showing up, fighting to be Emma's dad, even as the system reduced me to a wallet. Meanwhile, I was barely holding my career together. Executive protection demands focus. One slip can be deadly. I was working 60 to 70-hour weeks to cover Sarah's demands and legal fees. My routine was grueling. 5 a.m. gym, 6:30 prep, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. shifts, 9:30 FaceTime with Emma, if Sarah allowed, 10 p.m. meal prep, then sleepless nights and push-ups to exhaustion. My boss, Mike, a former Marine who got me into the industry, noticed my decline. After I nearly nodded off during a client briefing, he pulled me aside. "What's going on, brother? Clients are noticing." I spilled everything, divorce, custody, Sarah's greed. He listened, then said, "I've got you, but you can't be distracted in this job. Lives are on the line. Take some time." He gave me 2 weeks paid leave, generous for our field. I used it to meet with Richard, organize finances, and build my custody case. I thought I was back on track when I returned. I wasn't. 3 weeks later, I was on a high-stakes job for a tech billionaire with death threats. Routine stuff, normally. I was scanning the restaurant, client positioned safely, when my phone vibrated. Sarah sent a photo of Emma in a hospital, hooked to monitors, no explanation. I texted, "What happened? Is she okay?" No reply. Called her mom, nothing. My mind raced, but I kept my post. Then I saw a man approach fast, hand in his jacket. Training should have kicked in. Step in, neutralize. But I froze for a split second, distracted by Emma's photo. It was just a fan wanting an autograph, not a threat, but my hesitation was noticed. Later, after confirming Emma was fine, just to check up Sarah used to mess with me, Mike called. "This isn't working. I'm sorry." 2 months later, I was let go. 2 clients had complained about my focus. 15 years, 8 in the Marines, 7 in security, gone. Severance wouldn't last long with Sarah's demands. The job market for high-end security is tight. Word spreads fast. I applied everywhere. Mall security, night watchman, bouncer. Overqualified, they said, meaning too costly or likely to leave. I landed a minimum wage gig at a storage facility. Graveyard shift, no benefits. It was a far cry from protecting CEOs. Nights meant no sleep, no daylight. Weekends with Emma, I was exhausted but pushed through for her. Richard hinted at unpaid legal bills. Rent notices piled up. Child support didn't pause, even as my savings vanished. The first missed payment triggered Sarah's venom. "Where's my money?" Deadbeat. Emma deserves better. I'd never missed a bill in my life, had perfect credit, paid early. Now I was failing my daughter. I went to court, showed job rejections, bank statements. Nothing helped. Sarah's lawyer claimed I'd chosen a low-paying job to dodge support. The judge wasn't swayed. The order stands. Pay or face consequences. I sold my car, watch, anything valuable, took a second job stocking shelves, survived on cheap food, picked up odd jobs, lawn mowing, house painting. Sleep dwindled to 4 hours. Then came the 8 a.m. knock. 2 cops looking uneasy with a warrant for unpaid child support. They were decent, let me change. But walking out in handcuffs was humiliating. The holding cell was cold, reeking, bleak. I thought of Emma. What would Sarah tell her? That Daddy was a criminal? My public defender, overwhelmed and young, barely read my file. Just promised to pay, he said. With what? I asked. He shrugged. The judge was blunt. Pay, or you're back here. A military buddy bailed me out after 3 days. 3 days of missed work, missed time with Emma, and falling deeper into debt. Jail gave me time to think. I did push-ups, kept a routine. Back home, I found a thick envelope from Jake, a trusted ex-teammate. His letter hit hard. You need to know the truth. He'd seen Sarah with her yoga instructor Brad at hotel events, too cozy to be platonic. He'd logged dates, times, photos, some from before our wedding, during her pregnancy, and recently. The timeline doesn't add up, he wrote. Sarah was with Brad before Emma was born. I held back because you loved Emma, but now Sarah's destroying you. Photos showed Sarah and Brad at hotels, restaurants, shopping, proof of years of deceit. I sat with it for a day, rage and heartbreak battling inside me. The Marine in me saw this as leverage, not just pain. I found a new lawyer specializing in paternity fraud, showed him Jake's evidence. This'll be messy, he said, but we can likely void the support orders. We need a DNA test. Sarah fought the test, claiming I was dodging responsibility, but the judge approved it based on Jake's proof. Waiting 2 weeks for results was torture. I studied Emma's photos, her blue eyes, mine are brown, her light hair. Had I ignored the signs because I loved her so much? The results came. 0.00% chance I was her father. I sat frozen, holding the paper, my world collapsing again. My lawyer was energized. This changes everything. We'll file to vacate support orders, and if she's been collecting from the biological father too, that's fraud. Digging revealed Sarah had been double-dipping, getting payments from both me and Brad. Subpoenas, bank records, and texts exposed her scheme. In court, Sarah arrived in a designer dress, her lawyer spinning a tale of her confusion over paternity. My lawyer countered with evidence, bank statements, hotel receipts, footage, texts proving she knew the truth all along. The judge's disgust was palpable. Mrs. Last Name, you've deceived 2 men, manipulated this court, and used a child as a pawn. He vacated the support orders, ordered restitution with interest, and referred Sarah for criminal charges. Sarah's face drained of color as she was arrested in court. Karma hit harder during booking. They found her purse stuffed with illegal pills, enough for distribution charges. Her 3-year fraud sentence became 7. Brad fled to Mexico when his support orders came, dodging his own legal troubles. Sarah's sister called recently, saying Sarah's found religion in prison and wants my help for a reduced sentence. I told her, wrong number. Emma's situation gutted me. With Sarah in prison and Brad gone, she faced foster care. Though not her biological father, I petitioned for custody, citing our bond and my role as her only stable parent. It was a tough fight. The system isn't built for this, but I won. Emma's with me now, full custody. Explaining her mom's absence to a 4-year-old isn't easy, but we're managing. I landed a security management job at a hotel chain. Better pay, regular hours, home every night. Emma's flourishing. Teachers say she's happier, making friends, excelling in activities, sleeping soundly. Sarah? Rumor has it prison meals don't match her designer tastes. Guess karma's the real gold digger. So, what are your thoughts on this story? Do you agree with what happened, or do you see it differently? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. See you in the next one.